Welcome back. All right, so I just finished the John Casey video, and I mentioned that because John Casey played at the University of North Dakota. So did Troy Murray. So what's interesting is Troy Murray's drafted 57th overall in 1980. Troy Murray comes into the league, plays a single game in 81-82. Now, according to Wikipedia, he didn't. But according to the NHL itself, he did, so I'm going to leave that one game on there. He also played 7 games in the playoffs in a series against Minnesota and recorded his first career goal there. Now, 82-83, he comes into the league. He plays 54 games as a rookie, 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points, and has 2 playoff games. But apparently, he was more known for his nightlife, for his extracurricular activities than for hockey. And it was Tony Esposito who basically sat him down and said, look, you're an excellent player. You've got to focus on hockey. And he did. So 83-84, in focusing on hockey, his totals get better. 61 games, 15 goals, 15 assists, 30 points. And in the playoffs, a single goal in 5 games. 84-85, Murray really develops here. 80 games, 26 goals, 40 assists, 66 points. And in the playoffs, 15 games, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points. So Chicago goes on a nice run, and he's a big part of it. He is one of the better two-way forwards in the game. For whatever reason, he's not top 10 in Selke voting that year. So the following season, something happens that we've talked about on this channel before, and really, to me, Troy Murray is the original with this. So 85-86, 80 games played, 45 goals, 54 assists, 99 points. So agonizingly close to 100 points. And in the playoffs, no points in 2 games. He wins the Selke that year. So one thing that I've noticed with the Selke is there are times where a player will win that award as the best two-way forward, best defensive forward, right? And it's their best offensive season. So it's always odd to me that the offense brings everybody's attention to their defense. Now, it's the only time he's top 10 in Selke voting. I'm not sure why that is, but again, voting can be an odd thing. 86-87, he plays 77 games that year, 28 goals, 43 assists for 71 points. In the playoffs, he plays 4 games, no points there. Chicago, of course, this is a while before the dynasty that would follow in the 2010s. If you want to call it a dynasty, you can. Officially, it's not, but sure, why not? So 87-88, we see his totals are dropping off, right? 79 games, 22 goals, 36 assists, 58 points. He adds a single goal in 5 games in the playoffs. But again, as long as he's playing well defensively, it's just fine. His points totals drop off a little bit the following season as well. 88-89, 79 games, 21 goals, 30 assists, 51 points. In the playoffs, they go on a run again. 16 games, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. The problem is if you come out of the division in the Norris, you have to play against a powerhouse coming out of the Smythe division, whether it's Calgary, whether it's Edmonton, doesn't matter. The Smythe division was running things in the 80s. 89-90, 68 games played by Murray, 17 goals, 38 assists, 55 points. So his points per game bounce back there. In the playoffs, it's another long run for Chicago. 20 games, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. So nice long run, and again, Murray giving them really solid play. 90-91 and what would be his final year in Chicago, at least for now, 75 games, 14 goals, 23 assists, 37 points. So the points totals drop off precipitously, and he adds an assist in 6 games. And then on July the 22nd, that summer, he is traded to the Winnipeg Jets. He is traded with Warren Reichel for Chris Norton and Brian Marchment. So that's an interesting trade right there. I know I've done a video on Marchment. I'm thinking Warren Reichel and Chris Norton, not much there for a video, but we'll see, maybe someday. 91-92, playing for the Winnipeg Jets, 74 games, 17 goals, 30 assists, 47 points. He had no points in 7 games in the playoffs. So his points totals jump back up with Winnipeg. It doesn't last, though. It's not going to last beyond that 1 year. 92-93, plays 29 games in Winnipeg, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. And on February 21st, they trade him back to Chicago in exchange for Steve Bancroft and future considerations, which don't come to anything. So back in Chicago, you're looking for some kind of a return of that offense. It really doesn't come. 22 games after the trade, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. He records no points during the playoff run, which is only 4 games. Then 93-94, he only plays 12 games for Chicago that year, 1 assist. And on March the 11th, he is traded to the Ottawa Senators with a 1994 11th round draft pick in exchange for a 1994 11th round draft pick. The draft used to go, I think it was 12 rounds. So That's an unusual one. I don't know that I've ever had 11th round draft picks traded on a career board. But he goes to Ottawa, and Ottawa, of course, they're coming through. They're still basically an expansion team. They're not very good. Murray being added for some veteran depth. Plays 15 games after the trade, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. 94-95, a lockout shortened season. Plays 33 games with Ottawa, 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points, and then they trade him. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, looking for that veteran depth up front, they pick him up, along with Norm McIver. Going the other way, Martin Straka. So that's one of those trades that we can look back on and say, that seems odd. Straka, of course, not really a huge star at the time, but he's the biggest name of the three in the trade. Norm McIver was quite the story for the Ottawa Senators. Might do a video on him at some point. Kind of came out of nowhere, kind of a flash in the pan type, but it was interesting. So after the trade to Pittsburgh, the offense again is not the story. The story is he's a defensive forward and he's there for depth. 13 games, 2 assists for him after the trade. In the playoffs, 12 games played, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. So he ends up on August the 7th of that summer signing with a brand new team, the Colorado Avalanche. So the Avs have just moved from Quebec. They're, again, looking for a utility forward, a veteran, a guy who's won a Selke trophy. Troy Murray fits the bill for what they need in that bottom six. He plays 63 games in 95-96 with the Colorado Avalanche, records 7 goals, 14 assists for 21 points. So not bad. Not bad overall, right? And then in the playoffs, he only played 8 games, but he does get his name on the Stanley Cup. So for Troy Murray, he retires as a Stanley Cup champion, ends up playing 915 games in his career, 230 goals, 354 assists, 584 points. In the playoffs, 113 games, 17 goals, 26 assists, 43 points. But again, if you have a Selke trophy in your career and a Stanley Cup, that's not bad. He did settle in Chicago after his retirement. He ends up as a broadcaster, color announcer as well with Chicago. He's been there for a very long time. Came out publicly in 2021 with a cancer diagnosis, but said, I'll work through it. And so, has been an absolute warrior for the Chicago Blackhawks in that role as well. 1982, he won World Junior Championship gold, and he had the NCAA title in 1982 with North Dakota. So Troy Murray, a nice long career in the National Hockey League, and the guy was a winner. He wins a cup, he wins a gold medal at the World Juniors, and he wins himself an NCAA title. Not bad. So there you go. Nice long career. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. This does finish out the career videos for while I am away from home, and then I will be picking them up again, of course, when I get back. And you guys can, as always, let me know in the comment section below which career videos you'd like to see. And sometimes I look in the comment section like, you know what, that's a good idea. So thank you guys so much for all your suggestions. I will talk to you again soon.